I've literally manifested things that I do not deserve. The number one way to block the abundance of everything that could be yours is so story time. And I have a reason for why I'm sharing this with you. What happened was John had purchased all this candy for the kids in the neighborhood because he figured, well, people might knock on the door. And when they knock on the door or ring the doorbell for Halloween, we want to give out candy. So we have so much, an abundance of candy that we want for them to be able to receive. And it made me think to myself, oh my goodness, this is so disappointing that the kids didn't show up because we were so excited. I'm like, oh, I want to pass out candy. I want to give them candy and, celebrate them. And hopefully they can enjoy just like I did when I was younger. Well, because none of the kids showed up, they didn't receive the candy. And so it kind of reminded me of us in our actual lives. We say we want things. We say we want it. We're like, God, I want this. And you're praying for it and you're like expecting it. And I believe that God wants to give you more. I believe that you should receive more, that increase can come and be there for you, and that there is abundance everywhere out there for you and available to you, but you're not seeing it because you're not there. You're not present. You're not aware that it exists. So when you keep looking at your physical circumstances and your physical reality, you keep saying, well, I don't have enough, fill in the blank. I don't have this. I don't have that. I don't have this. I don't have that. And you talk so much about it. But then here's God literally like, I have it for you. I think there's a lot of push and pressure and worry and I got to figure it out and I got to make it happen. And the more that we keep doing that, it doesn't give God a chance to really bless us, to surprise us, to set up opportunities and doors because we're pushing, we're forcing, we want it so badly. And we're like, yeah, I want abundance. I want more. I want to get paid to exist. I want to be able to just receive more. But then when it comes time to receive, we're not actually receiving. What we're doing is we're pretty much saying, I don't want all of this abundance that I asked for. I want to try to figure out my own path on my own. And while I'm not saying you shouldn't work, I'm not saying you shouldn't, enjoy the work that you do that's fulfilling, but you can I've literally manifested things that I do not deserve. I remember seeing someone, recently, and I had to surrender this and let this go. I was sharing on Instagram that someone I loved and cared about, who's a relative of mine, was sharing that people keep wanting to hire them. They want to hire them so badly, but the person keeps telling them, no, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. And so they're like, but that's what I want. And I said, well, what do you want in the future? Oh, I want to do this full time. I want to be on TikTok. I want to make this money. But then every single time clients come offering the money, they keep turning it down and saying, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. So that goes to show you can actually talk yourself out of your blessing. You can talk yourself out of all of the abundance that you claim that you want. All of these pieces of candy represent all of the abundance that you were meant to have. And yet, instead of receiving it, you're like, well, I still have my job and I'm focused on my job because they pay me. And that's something that makes me feel safe, is their paycheck paying me. So that's where my safety comes from. My provision is no longer coming from God or from faith or trusting that I have what it takes or trusting that those other people who want to pay me, that's the abundance. But nope, I'm just going to take that paycheck because that's what feels comfortable. That's what feels safe to me. We have got to stop doing that. We have got to stop taking the safest option because, like I said in my very last video, if you haven't seen it, you have to see it, about shifting your reality. That is the lowest level of consciousness, is your physical reality. The physical realm is only based on your five senses and your logic, and that is less than 1% of reality. Quantum physics goes deeper in depth into this, but what I can tell you is that when you upgrade to the mental, you start shifting your beliefs and saying, well, what is possible for me? Let me do this. Let me try this. Let me start aligning my actions toward getting the thing that I actually want. And as you do your research and you start looking into it, things start to fall into place. And there is a messy middle that a lot of people do not discuss and are not transparent about. There have been many and plenty of times where I have doubted personally myself, saying, oh my goodness, how's this going to happen? Because we're human, right? So we naturally go to the logic, and I had to correct myself and say, actually, it doesn't matter how it happens, as long as I'm being a beacon of light, as long as I'm serving in my best energy, as long as I'm taking care of myself and having rest, and then I'm showing up, I'm serving others, I'm naturally going to be in my purpose and in my calling. So everything is going to freaking fall into place. And let me tell you exactly how that happened. I started having people who I connected with. I went to a networking event and this girl literally was just like, can I hire you for something that I want to do? Like as a guest speaker? Because now I was a therapist, I'm turning into a life coach. Would I be able to hire you? I'm like, yeah. And then out of nowhere, that same week, here comes someone telling me, oh, I would love to hire you for my mastermind. This is 2 people now. And do you know what my mantra was for the week? I don't do affirmations because I don't believe in them, but my mantra for the week, and I just think to myself, wow, people really love, like people see me, they feel my energy and they want to pay me. That was my theme that week. People see my energy, they feel me, they want to pay me. The week before that, I kept saying my mantra that week and my theme that week was people love doing nice things for me. People love giving me things for free. And sure enough, the owner of the restaurant gave me something for free. Yeah, my order was free on the house, but I watched the other girl pay for it. So it's so funny how we don't realize that we can set up our week for success with these weekly mantras. My mantra this week is my inner calm and my inner peace creates more inner calm and more inner peace for others. Excuse me. Still have a cough here that I'm recovering from, but my mantra is for this week to start, I'm going to watch how other people feel calmer because of my inner calm and my presence. We're just projecting what it is we want. If you say, I have a lot of money or I want abundance, you already are abundance in human form. So now you need to emulate that. You don't need to rush around and try to get someone to pay an invoice if they have been ghosting you. Move on. There are new clients who want to pay you. Know that when you make decisions, you will be tested. Oh, that's how you're moving now? Well, let's see if that's true. So if you fail that test, for example, and there's no real failure, right? But let's say you don't pass that test. You have to take the test again and you'll keep getting tested on it until you actually pass it. So it's all about learning to feel safe with the unknown. You have to be safe with not knowing all the answers of the how and how's it all going to come together. You can plan it in your mind, but it might happen completely differently. But say, okay, what is this teaching me in this moment? What am I learning in this moment? If I create my own reality, is this really a setback or is this showing me something or revealing something about me, my character, how I respond when things hit the fan? When I'm like, oh my goodness, it's not looking right. What am I supposed to do? Do you panic in those situations or do you somehow find a way to get back up? Do you find a way to keep going? Do you find a way to say, no, I know this is all working together for me? Because there's a difference between believing that all things are working together for your good versus actually moving and living your lifestyle like everything is working together for your good. It's easy to say, oh, everything's coming together for me. I believe it, right? That's your affirmation, quote unquote, right? Or your mantra or your theme of the week. But if you truly believe that, what would you do? What would you accomplish? How would you move? How would things change? How would things completely shift in your reality and in your life? One person I know said that they really wanted their brand to stand out and they're like, I know I'm not sharing enough. I know I'm uncomfortable sharing my story. And that's why I'm not getting the brand deals that I wish I got. And so that person literally, I was like, yo, you got to do this. You should make that video, post it,? And so they created their first part of their series. And I was so proud of this person. I was like, you better go ahead, girl. Because I'm always cheering for all CEOs out there. As an identity coach and as a spiritual guide, I am someone who is going to always clap for the entrepreneurs who are making their voices known. So if you've been afraid to create content, this is your sign. Create the content. If you know that you're like, this person doesn't treat me right, but I stay with this person or this friendship that's old and outdated just because we used to be friends, let that go. Lock in, focus. We are entering 2026 and you want to be prepared for all of the blessings that you're meant to receive because all of this could be yours, or you could just settle for the little scraps that you receive that are no longer in alignment. Number one thing that tends to block a lot of the manifestations from landing is worry. So if you're someone who overthinks, you're someone who is constantly worrying, your mind is super loud, learn to quiet your mind. Put on binaural beats, put on something, calm your spirit, calm your nerves. I am safe. Remind yourself of that. You can even hug yourself, hold yourself, and just breathe and sink into that hug and remind yourself, I am safe. I am safe. I am good. I am protected. I am held. Everything is aligned right now in my life. the next time that you're worried, I want you to remember that abundance has your name written on it. You just have to be open to receiving it and letting go and releasing control, releasing worry, surrender to the process. That's the hard part, the surrender, the saying, I don't know how things will turn out, but I trust that God, that the source, that my creator has my back and wants me to win. So I have to show that I'm ready. I'll see you in the next video. And if you really love this video, definitely hit that like button. I would love to hear from you in the comments. How have you been doing? Do you have any questions? I'll be sure to answer them in my next video. And definitely make sure you hit that subscribe button because I post videos every single week. So I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah.
Yep, you're still rolling.
Thank you. Yeah, so we're back at it again. So that's something, all things. And so I want you to remember that, oh, the TV came on. Not the TV. Yeah, so I want you to remember that the next time, and we can stop the video here. But yeah, so I want you to remember that the next time